Welcome to Higher Learning. I am your host, Oz Rashid. This is more than just a podcast. It's a front row seat to how elite leaders build the most iconic of teams. The kind of leaders who spot potential that others overlook, who build cultures people don't want to leave, who set the bar, then raise it. Work and how we work is evolving at a rapid pace like no time in history. Our guests will give you insights on how to stay out in front when it comes to all things talent, leadership, management, artificial intelligence, and developing the skills that actually matter. Whether you're a founder, hiring manager, or just obsessed with building teams the right way, this is your spot. If it's your first time here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button, drop a rating, tell a friend who gets it. To our longtime listeners, we appreciate you. Thanks for the continued support. Now, let's get into it. Today, we are joined by a very special guest. We are joined by Julia Zhou. She is the co-founder of SAAFE.ai. She's a visionary transforming the future of healthcare through artificial intelligence. And for more than 2 decades, she's led digital transformation from the inside, serving as the CIO, CTO, and head of product across some of the most complex healthcare organizations in the country. Now she's taken that experience and built 2 ventures of her own, Alpine Consulting, where she's helping smaller health and wellness businesses harness AI the right way, and SAAFE.ai, a predictive platform using artificial intelligence to anticipate and prevent safety incidents before they happen. In our conversation, we're going to talk about her journey into tech in the Bay Area, startup scene, what responsible AI really means in practice, and why healthcare is one of the most meaningful and underestimated frontiers for AI talent today. We're also going to explore what the best founders in San Francisco are talking about right now and how their approach to building responsibly is reshaping what leadership technology looks like. Julia, how you doing?
Very good. How are you, Oz?
I'm doing well. Weather in the Bay Area is nice right now.
Today is a beautiful day. The sun comes out, so you know it's going to be good.
Yes, as it comes over the fog, and when you get that sun, you've got to love it. Up in the Bay Area, I love it there. I always tell people I'm from the West Coast of the United States. I say it's the most cultured West Coast city that we have. There's just so much to do there. Obviously, Silicon Valley technology, tons going on in the area. I love every time I visit there. So I'm so excited to have you on. I want to talk a little bit about you and your career journey because I think it's awesome. I want to also understand how you ended up in San Francisco. So let's start there. Tell us about your foray into technology. How did you first become into technology? And then how did you wind up in San Francisco?
Yeah. Well, first, Oz, thank you for having me. I think to understand why my career started with technology has to go back when I was back in China. So I was born in a family of 2 university professors, very much of a technology enthusiast. And I was little, they actually tell me a lot of times about education is power. And later on, I understand how technology can reshape the world. And that's basically started my really the interest of technology when I was little. And then when I moved to States 32 years ago, I'm getting my second master degree in computer science. And that's formally get me involved in really technology and just everything goes from there. So for 30 some years in healthcare IT, and I basically firsthand experience how technology changed people's lives. And with most recent a decade or so, I leading all these digital transformation for healthcare organizations and started in clinical system and worked through enterprise transformation role like CIO and CTO, and then led nationwide digital transformation programs. So over time, I realized true passion wasn't just implement technology, but also, about how we can execute and leading the changes. So I kind of feeling I want to be at the epicenter of everything meet all at one place where healthcare, AI, and innovation collide. So I think nowhere can compare with the West Coast, especially San Francisco. So that's why.
Yeah, I was looking at this. So I know you did your master's at NYU. You've done different postgraduate at MIT and Wharton. but it was always San Francisco. You knew that if you wanted to be in the middle of technology and disruption and where things are happening, you had to be in that area. Is that right?
Center of action. Absolutely.
I love that. So I'm interested. You grew up in China before moving here 32 years ago. Do you go back and visit ever?
Yes, I still have family, and recently my father is I think growing to 90 years old. So I find him a 24/7 kind of a nursing home back in China, which he basically he feel very comfortable back in China. So I basically moved him back and visit him at least once a year.
I love that. Is it in one of the bigger cities or is it in a smaller province or where's home?
It's the northeast of China. So you see China is a map of a rooster. So my hometown is at the chin. So we're by the ocean. So basically I grew up by the ocean, and it's an international port with a lot of open policy. When I was little, very open, very industrialized, and also have a tons of fun by the ocean. So it's a very healthy town.
Yeah. So obviously the two centers of AI in our world at this point is the US and America. And I'm just interested, when you were growing up in China, did you see this level of what China's become? Like, did you see the kind of the roots of this? Or was this something that's really been only burgeoning over the last 15 to 20 years?
Interestingly, when I graduated, when I hold a computer science degree, before that, I hold electrical engineering, and I got master in China. And my paper actually is about artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow.
And that time, artificial intelligence is completely different than what we have now. I think because of the huge factor contribute to the current AI and the pace is the compute. So we don't have that. So we have all just sensors and programs, and the program knowledge is really not quite advanced either. So at that time, no, China is still, I would say, learning, and the Chinese way, I would say, work hard
Hmm.
and very intelligent people.
Sure.
So doesn't take long for them to really keep up. And now
Yeah.
starting to go head to head with the US in this AI world.
It's amazing because I've become a bit of a nerd on AI history, particularly here in the US, obviously. And just, artificial intelligence has been something that has been, you know, percolating for a very, very long time. In fact, I think I read that Larry Page's father had a artificial intelligence specialization in Michigan when he went to school. And that's why, Larry was always kind of familiar with that. And I look back and it's like neural networks were actually looked at as kind of like, yeah, that's not ever going to work, and that's not really the way that artificial intelligence is going to go. And it was actually kind of poo-pooed for quite a bit of time until we started seeing things with like AlexNet and the visual recognition, and Jeff Hinton and his work at the University of Toronto, and Lan McCune in terms of what he's done. And I just get so excited about all this stuff. And I just find it to be so interesting because people are only kind of realizing what AI is on a mass basis over the last 5 years. Really, how? Because of ChatGPT, right? But really, this has been something that has been building and percolating for so long to finally get to this point where now we're hitting a hockey stick in terms of innovation and growth, and on our way to AGI or whatever it may be. I think I got to learn more about Chinese history when it comes to artificial intelligence, because I think that's probably a little bit more recent, but probably very exciting and very interesting. So anyway, going off a little bit off on a soapbox there, I appreciate you sharing that. So you're the founder of Alpine Consulting and the co-founder of SAAFE.ai. I want to know about both organizations, but particularly as a recent co-founder for SAAFE.ai, what's your vision for that organization?
Okay, so these are completely two different type of organization. As Alpine Consulting, I actually have it quite a few years back, doing kind of part-time job, just helping people and do some consulting work, because a lot of organization they want something really quick and in a short time engagement, and they cannot afford a full-time position. So I try to help them on cybersecurity, and recently moved to AI, especially strategy, and carry out some of the phased execution plan for them. So those are some of the things that I do, and especially recent year or two, Alpine Consulting focus on helping healthcare organization basically just make a leap from AI curiosity to AI capability. And we also help these organizations to define a strategy and implement, especially automation and build responsible data governance. And because data governance is everything, the data quality, and also make sure that they actually scale the innovation safely. So this is what we do in Alpen Consulting. As far as Safe AI goes, this is a new venture for me, and it's very interesting because I feel the similarity, if there's any, is they're all touching human lives. So for all these years, I'm in healthcare IT. Everything, anything we do is to improve and also sometimes save people's lives. So is a Safe AI. So it's a very deep personal kind of mission for me. And Safe AI is basically a predictive safety platform. We use AI and deep tech to prevent human-related disasters. Start with fire prediction. So we actually predict fire. We are the only company I would say, in the U.S., most possibly in the world, to predict fire. So our vision is to move from basically detection to prevention and create a world where safety system, we can think ahead. So basically, both Alpine and Safe can drive by one principle: just use intelligent system to protect our lives.
How predictive? Like predictive in that like something small is percolating, there's an ember and now it can turn into a wildfire? Or predictive even to like what causes that and stopping that before it even gets to that point?
Oh, we did so much of research. So between me and co-founder who Shane, he's actually located in Ireland, and we did so much research. So 50% of house fire. So our phase one focus on house fire. Over 50% of house fire relate with cooking. So right now we basically narrow down to prevent and basically predict cooking related fire. And, I don't know if you still remember all these news. On 2024, there is a restaurant in London because of the cooking residuals, all the oils and everything, unattended. So causing a huge apartment fire, and 72 people died. And I think that's during Ramadan time. So all these, I would say, incident that people make cooking such a dangerous, if not unattended, dangerous incident. It's going to be really life threatening. So Safe AI is using deep tech device oriented 10% hardware, 90% software to really build this platform to predict before fire happen. So we have a safety threshold and we decide what is the safety score. We assign each home, which is our safe home, fire safety score. And if they exceed certain level, after real time data, I would say go through our comprehensive patented algorithms, will decide whether at certain stage when we're going to send alert and when we're going to really escalate to further like fire department or even trigger your sprinkler. So all these things are different action linked to different level of our prediction algorithm.
I really love that. I mean, I think especially in our country, there's a lot of fear when it comes to AI. There's a lot of like, different things that, whether it be displacement of jobs, whether it be sentient beings, whether it be just a lot of different things that people worry about with AI. And you are building something that is the case study of what this can be in terms of improving lives, improving health, obviously saving lives, saving money. It's amazing. I love, love, love what you're building. I'm so glad that you just shared that because that's exciting, and I hope people find out about it and that they can start to use your algorithms and your tools to create safer environments for themselves. Amazing. Let's talk a little bit about healthcare. We are in really wild, high growth times right now, and for many, caution is being thrown to the wind. It's almost like the Wild Wild West, the gold rush type situation where it's like, you know what, we're going to put like all the logic and pragmatism and the things that take time, and we're going to throw it to the side so that we can meet the need for speed. But you're an advocate for responsible AI, but believes it goes well beyond just the technology you build, and it's about the process and the people as well. And so I want to understand what you mean by that, and then particularly why does that in the area that you've spent your career, healthcare, why is that as important there?
I feel a lot of times being a technologist, especially a technology evangelist like I am. We sometimes get carried away with technology. So when I was young, in the younger days, I learned a lot of, I would say, hard lesson because a lot of times it's really not about technology. It's about people, about culture, about how you have to do the groundwork before everything, before you even put the technology in the spectrum. It's about resolving real world problem, about how to connect with business and telling them, listen to them. It's not about technology, it's about business. So listen to their story. So come back to responsible AI. I think it's not isn't a checklist, right? It's a mindset. So it's about how we design and deploy and continuously monitor the system that impact human lives. So in healthcare, we don't have the luxury of moving fast and breaking things, right? So we're dealing with people's lives. So responsible AI means building trust. We want making sure data is accurate and decisions, we can explain all these decision making and be transparent. And the teams are trained to interpret and act on AI output, responsibly. And it's about aligned ethics, operations, and culture, not just algorithms. I think because in healthcare, trust is very important. If it's lost, is no no amount of innovation can fix that, right? So I just feel a strategy has much to do with culture, with get people's buy-in, with solving problems, with from a strategy from a vision to AI performance. And that alliance is extremely important. And not to mention monitor it and create a culture in the whole organization, how we're going to um, make data trustworthy, make our algorithm high quality, and continuously monitor the output. So in that sense, we can continue build trust and to make AI truly perform the way we want it.
Love that. And I love how you talk about alignment because it is not just about the technology and the algorithm. It's about the ethics, the operations, the process, the outcomes all lining up together, try to get success in that space. I think that's a really smart way to look at it. There's a ton of burgeoning early in career AI talent out there right now. And many of them are probably wondering, well, where do I take my skills? Where's the most money? Where's the most opportunity? Where can I make the most impact? Tell me, why should it be healthcare? What would you say to someone who's super talented, who's listening to this right now, who's in AI and very early in their career about why getting into this industry makes sense?
Interesting. So I think one of the things, this is my fourth month in San Francisco. One of the things I noticed, is there are just so many smart people here. All these newly graduates, they're so fearless, inspired by this new technology, and they want to build something, you know. And healthcare is the most meaningful area for these talents, in my opinion, because it's where innovation meets purpose, right? So every model, every automation, everything we do, every algorithm have a potential to improve or even save someone's lives. And it's also one of the toughest environments. It's not for everybody. And we all have our frustration, right? So it's very complex data, siloed, outdated system, very strict regulation, very high accountability, So, but then, it's the best place to grow because it's truly the real world discipline means a lot in healthcare industry. So this is the best training ground for newly graduates, all these AI talents to truly get somewhere and have an intense boot camp for their real world skills. So if you want to work, to have purpose, precision. I think healthcare industry is, the place that you have both.
Love that. I'm inspired. I hope somebody listening to that just said, you know what? Julia is on to something here. I am dedicating my life to this. Amazing. Um, Last question. You mentioned being in San Francisco, all the smart people that are around, the collisions that might just happen at a Starbucks or in a shared workspace. You connect and meet with founders all the time. All right. So tell us, what are the best ones talking about when it comes to being responsible with AI? And how's that approach different from founders, maybe 5 to 10 years ago, building more traditional companies that weren't as AI intensive?
Yes. So I met a group of extremely talented, hardworking founders as well as founding team members. I feel everybody these days talking about AI, not just about how fast it goes or how fast, let's just go as fast as it can. But at the same time, also, they want to know, you know, how fast they should go because a lot of times we want to every new thing comes out, even with the fast pace that AI is developing right now. Every 3 months we will develop some new things. The model becomes so much better. It becomes such more human-like than the previous model, and it can generate some new things and new features, and everything become easier and easier, and the speed of doing things just shrink. The turnaround time just so short, become shorter and shorter. But at the same time, they will always be a group of founder, if not almost everybody, and trying to see if this speed going to hurt us eventually. So they always thinking how we can safeguard, how we can make sure there is a checkpoint, how we can make sure that this speed eventually is really going to ultimately benefit us as a human race. And a lot of times, I feel the use case they're talking about is much aligned to it. And not to mention, a lot of security folks and putting all these AI system into their security solution as well. How we can guard our information, how we can utilize blockchain to make sure that all these data elements are privacy first, and how we can basically put all these safety check every single step of the way in the whole process. So all these things are, you know, in place and in much discussion. Even when you hear some of the, I would say, industry leaders, I heard one of the podcasts from Satya, which is Microsoft CEO. He's mentioning that because of the collaboration and strategic partnership with OpenAI, and he basically 10 times fold his investment into 130 billion. But he mentioned the first thing he mentioned, he want to put the first 25 billion into building a safe AI system, as responsible, safe AI system. And I think what he's mentioned is basically represent the trends, the mindset of the founder, successful founder group. And also these new founders coming in, with building security, building guardrail, building safe AI type of solution. I think the trends, is not let's just build this AI, whatever it takes, but more of let's build this AI, whatever it should go. So I feel this is the culture in Bay Area.
Finding the right talent for your team doesn't have to be a struggle. Meet Aon Hire, the world's first hiring experience management platform designed to transform the way you hire. Powered by AI, Aon Hire takes the hassle out of every step in the process. From smart resume analysis to customized interview questions, it saves you time, money, and effort. Plus, with real-time insights from every interview, you can quickly identify top candidates, reduce turnover, and stay on budget. And forget about note-taking, Aon Hire takes care of that for you. Ready to revolutionize your hiring process? Visit aonhire.com and get started today.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been thinking about because of where I spend all my time, and I'm thinking about, how I've said before that I think with AI, I think there's some short-term displacement of jobs and disruption, and I think long-term abundance as we start to figure out what are the new roles of tomorrow, what is the new work of tomorrow. And one of the things that I keep going back to is this idea of this economy of safe AI and compliance and making sure that the technology is doing what it should do, I don't think we rely on more AI for that. I think that's a human intervention that's always going to be needed, and that oversight that's going to be needed, that creates this cottage economy of work that doesn't exist right now, right? There's cybersecurity. I think this takes it to a whole different level in terms of all the different aspects of the end-to-end AI and the stack and what needs to be done from that perspective, because there's just so much on the line with it. So to me, if we're looking at where there's job growth, where there's opportunity. Well, you're in a great space with Safe AI, but I think that's such an important piece that will become its own area of specialization. There'll be a lot of job growth. So that's one aspect. The other aspect, oh, did you have something you want to say there?
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. And the thing is not to mention, in a lot of industry, it's what safe AI means is a lot of area, it's not quite safe for humans, right? So, you lost a lot of human workforce in, some of area in healthcare, in some of the area like mining industry, a lot of those, and not to mention transportation, right? People work long hours and sometimes causing accident. So all these things is going to be, replaced by either robot or by AI, by autonomous vehicle, by technology. So we can still keep the productivity maybe even higher, a lot higher, but at the same time, keeping human, at a safety space. So I feel it's going to be really, fundamentally change the way we live. Um, change the world.
I believe in the abundance. I believe what it's going to be and what it's going to do. I believe, what I would tell you is like, I always try to look at AI if it's really going to lead to AGI and conception of thought and things like that. Then let's think about our human economy and how things work and how it might start to translate into this new world and how these two things coexist. So this might sound like a dumb analogy, but like think of what a policeman does, right? In terms of keeping things safe and protecting the streets for humans. Think about what a fireman does or firewoman does to protect us from fires, right? Think about what a doctor or a nurse does to help us, after the fact. We're going to have that entire economy for AI, right? What's going to police the safety of it? What's going to prevent the big issues and fix them when they go wrong? And what's going to, when things do go wrong, how do we bring it back to where it needs to be from a health perspective? I know that sounds like really kind of crazy, but think of how many of those jobs exist. And we're going to have to duplicate that for AI because it's going to be the infrastructure of everything that we do. And so I think there's a lot to come, and I think it's going to make for a better world in a lot of ways, but there will obviously be downsides because you can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. And so there will be things that are not good, especially in the short term as we're figuring things out and there's all this uncertainty, right? But I think over time, I think it's going to be something that absolutely changes the way we live, work, play for the better. I really do believe that at every level, not just for the wealthiest, but for all levels of society. And who knows, maybe even the concept of wealth goes away. Who knows? That we're going too far down that road. The other thing I will point out is it is amazing and it's very admirable to have founders and leaders like Dario Amodei and Mustafa Suleyman, who's the CEO of AI at Microsoft, and Demis Habbassis, who's obviously with Google at DeepMind and everything there, and how much they are focused on the power of the technology, subsequently what that means in terms of the way we build it and how we go about it. So even if there are bad actors out there, a lot of the smartest and best people with the most resources, it turns out, are looking at it from a very, very, very holistic point of view and a safe point of view. And I really appreciate that because it tells me, number one, the power of the technology, right? Because the people who are closest to it can see what it can be, but also that, if you have the right people building it, right, and taking the right constraints and doing things with the best intent, we can be in a very good spot with that. So
Absolutely. Yep.
let's talk a little bit about talent and hiring, right? I want to know, Julia, you've hired a lot of people throughout your career. You've built probably some world-class teams. Let's start here. What's a core hiring philosophy for you, right? Maybe it's changed over the years, but right now, what's your core hiring philosophy of people that you want to bring to work with you?
Right. So I feel a lot of times there's some skills that can be trained. There's some skills that cannot. So a lot of times I also want to build a team that is fully empowered to do the things they are passionate of doing. So I think the core team that I want to build and the people that I want to find is aligned to the culture, aligned to the things that we're doing, we set out to do. And at the same time, being this person see, the the culture fit, and not to mention, want to really go beyond and to contribute to this mission, to company's mission. So a lot of times when I find people in previous organizations, actually I get this from my real-time experience as well. I find the people who work the best is they truly enjoy what they're doing. And they actually very, very much align with, every single day, bring the work, not become a work anymore, but become their passion. And every single day they see the achievements, they see the difference they make. So number one is has to align with culture. And, number two is has to have a couple of soft skills. Stay curious, you know, I love the people who see learning not just a chore or keep up with, your job with your career requirement, but more of a hobby. Just make them happy because I am myself is a self-learner and I feel learning to me actually make me happy. So I want to find people who always feel curious on things that if they don't know, they really want to know. And those are the people normally build high performance team. They are a lot of times they shine. So these are the two fundamental, I would say, must haves when I hire a core team. Others, of course, some of the skill sets and everything else, so you can build up on top of.
Those are the two most important ones. But here's what I'll tell you, and I don't want to generalize, but you had Southeast Asian parents. I have a Southeast Asian parent. My mom always would tell me about the thirst for knowledge, the desire to learn for learning's sake, getting 1% better, and you better do well in school. And you did not come home with anything less than an A. And, I look back and it was hard growing up. And I didn't always please, when it came to that. But ultimately, it built this fiber in me where I read constantly. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to gain new information. And that curiosity has served me well in my career. So I totally agree with you. And that thirst for knowledge and that excitement to learn is something that you can't, it's either ingrained in you or it's not. And so I think that's such a key thing for people you bring into your organization. Do you have a memorable interview experience? Like, is there any, if I ask you about that, is there one, maybe you were interviewing somebody or you were interviewing for a role? Like, what's a memorable interviewing experience that stands out to you?
I interview in the past almost 30 years in my career. So many people. I think one time I interviewed for a Java developer when I was in Molina Healthcare. Yeah, Molina Healthcare. And, what we want is just build a self portal, member portal. We said member portal, just a full stack Java developer, pretty straightforward. And this person, I think he just graduated from college, just show up and he said, well, I did some research over the weekend. I built you some sample. And he showcased me with his simulated data and give me a sample of what his vision of our portal look like. He go that far beyond to really understand our business and to really showcase what his vision with the most, I would say, cutting edge technology since he just graduated not too long ago. And then combine with what he know about our business over a weekend, build this thing and showcase to me. Yeah. And I was just got blown away. And
you hired him and he was amazing?
We did give him an offer letter. And guess what? He got 3 offer letter. And Molina Healthcare is not the top. So we got sent.
You didn't get him. Oh, man.
Or his plan B, most likely.
So did he do that for 3 different companies? I imagine he did some level of that with every company. It goes back to a couple of things. You said you wanted to hire people that love what they do. Obviously, if you're spending the weekend to do that research and do that, you love what you do, but you also, what I advise everybody right now, especially in a market that has a lot of people out there right now, right? A lot of talent out there. How do you stand out? How do you go above and beyond? How do you resonate, right? And that obviously worked. Wow, that's amazing. Too bad Molina lost out on him, but I'm sure he's gone on to great success wherever he ended up taking his wares. What about a favorite question? Do you have a favorite question that you like to ask that like you think pulls out, good information, maybe a situational question or a behavioral question?
Okay, so I asked many, many interesting questions.
Oh, tell me more.
Without giving them away, I want to tell you what is the question asked to me when I was in interview for a job,
Okay.
and it's really stuck with me. So I was it's a long time back, and I got interviewed on this business analyst role. Right, it's quite long ways back, and this VP interviewed me, and I'm like, how does VP know anything about business analysts, right? So turns out anything that he asked me is about what I just mentioned, the culture fit and soft skills. So he said, well, let me ask you, if you want to be a tree, what kind of tree you want to be and why? That stuck with me.
What did you answer?
Um, I said, I want to be a Joshua tree. He said, why? I said, because Joshua tree doesn't need much to survive. And, just big blows and, in the deserts, harsh environment and, just no matter what, it pulls off, it just nothing can kill this tree, this is, the resilience, is shining through, not to mention it keep going bigger and bigger. So I got hired.
Let me think how I'll answer that. So I would answer a oak tree
Okay.
because
Why?
strength and or maybe a willow tree where there's flexibility in the wind, right? But I'm very strong and have my core values and my core base that can't be moved off of. But on things that are not core values are important, I can be flexible and I can adjust and I can move. I think that might be an answer I give. Would you hire me?
It's interesting, I think this is interesting one because I think this question exposes kind of like who you are. You know what I mean? It's just in a different way of describe who you are. Because at the time he asked me, I'm an immigrant, I come here work 3 jobs to pull myself into another degree, And life's really difficult. A lot of time I'm by myself, no one to really, lean on. And I feel like, time is difficult. It's a harsh environment, but I'm going to thrive. Nothing is going to beat me down, and nothing is going to defeat me. I'm still going to be this, successful. I'm going to end up successful, but now I'm going to just suck it up and pull it through. So that's who I am, and so I think he just want to kind of understand.
My head of HR, she famously asks everybody that interviews here what their she doesn't say the word spirit animal, but she says, what is the animal that you identify with the most, have the most qualities of who you are, right? And I find that to be similar in terms of how do people break that down and what do they value about themselves? What's part of their identity? I really love that question. If I'm being honest, though, I wouldn't answer this in an interview, but I think I'd be a palm tree because I love warm weather and I can see the ocean and I'm just swaying and relaxing and having a good time. So that might be my actual
That's
answer.
also okay. Yes, that's wow.
All right, last talent question. If I ask you the best hire you've ever made, does anybody come to mind? You don't got to name names, but does anybody come to mind?
Of course, yeah.
So what was it about them, and did you know it in the interview process?
Yes, I know he's going to be good, but I did not expect that good. Okay, so for all the hires, I would say, uh, especially during, at later years, I become so experienced, right? So you know how to pick, right? How to really find the people, by the things they say, and a lot of time by the things they do not say. Uh, you know, I feel like that's something AI probably couldn't do. Um, and I feel it's very, very important that you pick um, some, clue, here and there, by the way that they answer your question. And, and also trying to find exactly what type of person you're looking for. Before I get into interview, I know about 60%, not even 80%. Probably a lot of hiring manager, they probably know 90% of what they're looking for. I don't. I always have an open mind. That's why diversity, inclusive diversity, because I always feel that give an open mind, um, the bigger portion, like 40%, I know is going to help for me to build a high performance team, because a lot of people bring in such a fresh idea that is just cannot express or cannot provide from your JD. So I went to interview, just said, give me surprise and surprise me, see how you're going to fit in this team. So put 40%, weight on that. Quite a big one.
I mean, we try to advise people to have structure in their interview process and understand their requirements going in, because most people can't be successful doing it the way that you do. But I love this idea of shaping the role, shaping what it could be based on the caliber of candidates that I'm talking to. And in this, what can a lot of times be a very transactional hiring situation, to me, that's truly taking into account the person, their motivations, their skills, and what they're good at, marrying it, but not being so rigid where you can't get the best out of that person, that you can't take the role to another level because of the caliber of the talent. And that's a different level that not many people are playing at. So I give you major kudos on that. And it sounds like it's been super successful for you. So amazing, amazing stuff. I want to ask you a little bit about, we talked a lot about AI already. So I want to ask you, good book you've read recently, anything that you'd recommend for our listeners?
I feel it's very personal to me. Okay, I read a lot of biography, Benjamin Franklin, and also I read, technology, of course, the Steve Jobs, even Elon Musk. I read them. So actually,
LinkedIn bios are amazing, just
you
incredible.
know,
Yes.
yeah, many times too. Yes. So it's just very inspiring. But personal level, I read a lot of book to just, I think, improve my personal growth in a way. Because I have a lot of hobbies. I'm a diver. I'm also mountaineer. So I read a lot of book related to adventure. Ernest Shackleton. So I just came back from Ireland.
That's the book on going to the Antarctic, right? And
Correct.
yeah, okay.
And we saved
And he wrote the
27.
job description. He wrote something along the lines of like,
Right.
low pay, you're probably gonna die and it's not great. But if you're into that, then you should come, right? Type of thing. So I'm paraphrasing.
Right. It's an amazing story. I suggest everybody read, the novel about Ernest Shackleton, and also watch movie. There are quite a few documentary movie. Watch that movie and know that story, know the detail about that story. I feel this is not just the leadership to the finest, but also the teamwork to the finest, and also the human, the potential that we don't know even exists in us to the finest. Such a good story. I visit the place where he was born, and I visit a new museum. They just have. I mean, just this has happened to be at the same location. I just feel very honored.
Amazing. I would not have known that about you. I love asking a question like that. You get such insight into somebody and what's important to them. I love that. Last question, and then I'm going to ask you a kind of a bigger question that we're going to take over the place of our typical lightning round, because I personally have you here and I have access to you. So I want to ask you something for my own personal benefit. But let's start here. What advice would you give 20-year-old Julia that you didn't know then that you know now?
Sit back and relax. Everything will work just fine. I was a very worrywart before. But now, really, I feel everything will work out no matter what. Every experience is a good experience.
Wow. Very profound. I love that. So I want to ask you this. You are obviously very, in the ethical AI space. Your company SAAFE.ai is obviously around safety. You think deeply about, the repercussions, the butterfly effect of building technology and what it could be, rather than even what it is in that moment. So I'm building interviewing technology, hiring, and eventually it's going to move into onboarding and team building, but particularly in the interviewing space. We want to make for more structured interviews, more collaborative interviews in terms of sharing of feedback, and then obviously making more intelligent decisions by understanding, what you're hiring and who will fit like a puzzle piece into that. what are some of the ethical considerations, or what are some of the things that I should be, I read a book called Future Ethics a while ago that really put into my mind what we need to build now to make sure that there is a lack of algorithmic bias, that we are creating a meritocratic environment where people can be seen for who they are rather than what they might be on their CV and resume alone, right? Same thing with the job description. How do we make sure that we magnify what that really is, a realistic job preview? What are some things that you think I should be taking into account when it comes to ethical considerations around hiring and interviewing and building software for it?
That's a very good question. Pretty, actually pretty complex, I would say. In a way, different level, right? So first, what exactly this person going to do, whether it's a coding, whether it's a handling data, whether it's handling system, handling infrastructure, different role has different level of, I would say, not quite requirement, but definitely a habit of how you are going to promote safety, safeguards to all the systems that they're handling. The habit, how they're going to code with the habit of thinking the future. These are very, very important for especially hands-on role. When I hiring hands-on role like a year back, everybody, especially software engineer, although they're software engineer, they cannot have even 10%, 20%. They have at least to have 30 to 40% knowledge of what type of coding standard they should follow based on security, based on safety. So those are very, very much needed, especially moving into the future. So those are at technical level, culture level, how they're going to be part of the team. A lot of time is counterproductive, whether you want to go fast or you want to go safe. So they need to understand sometimes they have to have I would say, give and take choices. In order to go fast, you have to go slow. So their mindsets, that's the second level of, I would say, capabilities or area that you should pay attention. Safety is a mindset. And higher level, where this person fit in overall organization, AI strategy, related to responsible AI, what exactly is going to be area of focus for this particular position. I think different level, I think this should all need to be covered to make sure that this person is a really good fit.
Love that. Furiously scribbling down notes. Such great insight. I'm so glad we got to spend some time together, Julia. I appreciate you coming on. I think this was just an action-packed episode from all the insights and knowledge. I think it's going to be a real popular one. Thanks again. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.